Well, good afternoon and welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz. That's right, it's afternoon tea. And in the studio today, I have a young man joining me all the way from Nigeria. I have Mr. Segun Solomon in the studio, and I will share a little bit on him with his bio, and then he will join us on stage and share his story, and then we will have a good old tea time together. So Segun Solomon is a social entrepreneur, author, good leadership advocate, life coach, tech and digital expert, communication skills coach, and content creator. He is the co-founder of International Youth Alliance for Social Impact, i-YASI, CEO, Principal Director, Matro Tech and Digital Solution Hub, and also sits as the current Secretary, Association of Nigerian Authors, ANA, on Osun State Chapter Nigeria. Among many other things, he is a sociopolitical youth leader and educationalist with passionate commitment to building individuals to become the best they can by helping them to discover their hidden potentials and maximize their powers. Solomon's best and favorite color is navy blue, as you can see in his poster when you check out Ms. Liz's Tea Time page. And Solomon, I don't see you on camera anymore, so I'm not sure what happened to your camera, but I know you're here because we did speak.
Yeah.
So welcome so much for joining me today for Tea Time. So could you share with the viewers who you are and what you do?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Miss Liz. I want to appreciate you for the honor and, for the privilege to be together with you on the show tonight. So, like you rightly introduced me, but then the pronunciation was kind of so.
Yeah,
so the
my tongue plays all these crazy little tricks. So
yeah,
if you could share a little bit more on those things.
don't mind. I actually understand. So it's a Nigerian name. So I am Segun Solomon, and the bio actually, states, I specialize in different areas, but basically I have passion for youth engagement as far as development is concerned, and social entrepreneurship. So this is something I find passion in doing, and this is something I have committed my life to doing. I love seeing people around me rise beyond their current level. I love seeing people around me rise beyond their current status. And of course, as part of what I do as a business venture, I am a tech and digital consultant. And of course, I also work as an educational consultant here in Nigeria. And basically, I must say that it's a pleasure for me to be together with you here tonight. Thank you.
So could you share a little bit how we met?
Wow. Interesting. I'm going to quote from the scriptures, the Bible. It says, can two people work together unless they agree? And then I believe the absolute answer to that is no. Two people who do not agree on a common ground cannot work together. So for me, how I met you is awesome. And I must take this chance to say something very sincere about you. I met you while I was running a campaign for one of my, virtual social engagement. And I could remember the tag of that program was Global Youth Connect for SDGs, Global Youth Connect for Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So I could remember that day I shared the article and, of course, the e-flyer we were to use for that program. And I just saw that somebody picked it and shared to so many pages, to so many Facebook groups. I was like, who is this person? And then I checked the name. I saw Elizabeth Jean Olivia Gagnon. So you would know that I actually mastered your full name. So I was like, oh, wow, this. So this woman is so fascinating. This woman is so intriguing and inspiring. And then I should tell you, I probably might not have told you before, I should tell you that when I saw the way you shared all the posts, I was like, wow, this is impressive. Then I did a background check on who you are, and I saw everything you've been doing that you actually have so much passion and commitment to promoting people's vision, to promoting and supporting in your own way what is in tandem with your personal dream. Oh my, sorry, that's electricity outage. Uh,
That
Sorry.
there, tea time is always, always.
This
There's
is
always some adventure.
so this is Nigeria. Sorry. Please, I may go mute a bit for now, please. A few seconds.
So he's just going to fix the little technical issues, which we already know. Miss Liz always has technical issues during tea time because this is a live broadcast. And when you're live, anything can happen. So as he was sharing, I guess he checked me out. So I am who I am. I'm just the everyday woman who has a big heart, who wants to share and bring awareness to all these incredible people and guests that come on tea time. So again, if you'd like to know more on Segun Solomon, I think it's a French name. I think maybe I'm going to ask him if he speaks French when he comes back because it sounds like it might be French. So yeah, if you'd like to know more on him, check him out on his Facebook and on his LinkedIn. I will put that up in the comments shortly. And if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. And if you're watching the replay after we're done the live show, please put in replay and put where you're watching from. If you're watching from YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, I'm curious to see where you guys are watching from and where you're listening from. So, and if you'd like to know more on what I do as a change maker, is check out Miss Liz's Tea Times. I'm all over the platforms. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over, Instagram. But tea time is not about me. Tea time is about the guests. Tea time is their tea, and I am only the pot holder. I serve everyone's tea here. So they share their stories. They share how they became who they are today, why they do what they do. And I believe that Segun is really committed to youths and making a difference. This man is really, really incredible, and I think you all should check him out. And that I'm hoping that he can get back with his technical issues and share a little bit more on his story, because I'd really like to know more about the i-YASI and how we can help him out more. Oh, and he's back. Look at that.
Oh my, thank you so much for that understanding. They just took off the power now, and I've gotten somebody to just put on the, alternative source of energy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. All right. So, like I was saying, when I met you and I saw the way you shared all of the posts and articles, so I saw from the antecedent of what you've been doing that you have been doing that not just for me, not just for my organization, not just for us, but even for so many organizations that have been doing that. And I was really so impressed. So, and you would remember that eventually I brought you on board to be one of the guest speakers for that event. And I must say is that was so commendable. And I must sincerely appreciate you for your passion and your commitment to human development, to social development, and of course, to international, networking and collaboration. You are so impressive, I must say. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But it's not about me. It's about you. So let's get to know you a little bit better. So why are you so committed to making a difference for the youths in your community?
Well, one of the key reasons why I, get myself so much committed to community development works is basically because I derive pleasure in doing that. I derive joy, I derive pleasure, I derive fulfillment. When I see people that I can help in any little way, I do it with the whole of my heart. And when I do it, I derive so much joy. So it gives me a kind of personal fulfillment. And I understand the fact that, committing oneself to social work, this is not business. It's not actually as if you're getting any rewards. There is no, literally speaking out, there is no gain you make from it. other
Yeah.
than the pleasure you derive from it. And as a matter of fact, there is a friend of mine who used to say something. He would say, the more you give into it, the more you get out of it. So for me, I have also discovered that the more I commit myself to seeing people's lives transformed through one or two of my initiatives, and when I say my, not necessarily my own idea now, when I join and when I collaborate with other people who are trying to make a difference, I derive joy, I derive fulfillment. And I understand the fact that when you do good to the nature, nature will definitely do good to you. In that, in short, my philosophy is that the more you give into it, the more you get out of it. And apart from that, I used to tell people, my proteges and people around me who are also committed to this, that, keep doing what you know how to do. It's all coming back to you. And that's where I derive my pleasure.
I truly believe that as well, because if we don't work from the heart and passion, we really don't make a difference, right? If we,
Definitely.
and that's what I get from you, is I see the passion. I feel the passion. Like when we talked and other programs that you've been working on, and we've discussed and had communications with that. I feel the passion from you to make a difference.
Yeah. And I must also say that you've been a contribution. You've made quite a lot of contribution to that passion, to that joy. And I could remember back then how you used to motivate and inspire me and say, "Hey, Solomon, I know you can do this." And permit me to say, I didn't even mention this, that, please go ahead. So that back then, when we were trying to establish the organization as a registered body, so that we can have our operation even going smoother, and so that we can operate at a higher level. I could remember back then when I was having some sort of confusion about how to go about it. How you, as a person, I'm not saying this to flatter you, but I'm saying this as a matter of fact and truth. How you used to motivate me and inspire me to say, "Hey, Solomon, I know
Nope,
you
I
can do
think you're
this."
frozen. So I think that he might be frozen for a second.
Solomon, I believe in you. Okay. Yeah. So, all of that put together, made up my source of, inspiration, motivation, and commitment to keeping, the ball rolling.
Well, one thing that I really want to get out there to everyone who's watching, even if you're watching now or you're watching the replay, what I do from the heart. I don't do it for benefits. I don't do it to get fame and light. If that happens, that is a bonus. But for me, tea time and all of the work that I do, all of the volunteering that I do, and that, uh, is that I just feel that I'm called to do it. It's my mission in life is to make a difference. So I'm really honored that you feel that passionate about me, and anyone who has been on Tea Time. And I truly am honored that you guys see what I'm doing as a difference, because that's what it is. It's to make a difference, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
so I want to know a little bit more about this IYASI. So what does the International Youth Alliance do?
Yeah, thank you so much. International Youth Alliance for Social Impact, just as the name implies, it is, the coming together of different youths from different walks of life and from different nations across the world, coming together to agree and, of course, collaborate to make social impact. And this happens more at international levels. And if I was to, explain what international means, which I know everybody already understands, but we work internationally. I am a Nigerian, for instance. Through social, engagements, I've been able to build a network of friends outside Nigeria. For instance, I can mention four, five, six, seven of them that we are very close. I mean, we became best of friends today. One of them is Talal Khalid. Mohammed Talal Khalid is a Pakistani. And I don't know if he's actually watching this, live show right now. I love him so much. And we got to connect, myself and Talal, for instance, we got to connect, there was a particular day I was invited to speak to a set of students from Damodar College in India. That was a virtual program last year. So coincidentally, it was just almost after, almost immediately after I finished the virtual session, I just received, a message on my Facebook Messenger from somebody I never had on my friends list on Facebook, Mohammed Talal Khalid, and then I received a voice note from him saying that he has a particular organization, and that is, the International Youth Platform, the international IYP, and that he saw my profile on Facebook, and of course he checked on LinkedIn and other social media platforms, and discovered that I would be able to be of help to his organization in actualizing his dreams and reasons for establishing that organization in the first instance. I was really so inspired. I was really so amazed. Like, seriously? This is amazing. How did you know I would be able to help your dream? But probably because he did his background check and he felt that I was able to do it. And today we became best of friends. So I have been pushing him, Talal, you've got to do this. Talal, you've got to do that. Talal, we can do this. Sharing ideas, sharing information, sharing, motivation and co-inspiring one another. So that's one. HYP is there. And of course, we met Carrie Gard. Carrie is a very lovely young lady. She's an Argentine. Carrie. You know
I
Carrie Gard.
do. I do.
Yeah,
Amazing, amazing lady.
she's such an amazing lady. So passionate, so committed, and she can motivate and inspire. Hey, hello, Solomon. Have you done this? Solomon, have you done that? You understand? So we connected. She also happens to be the global leader of Climate Reality. So Climate Reality is an organization that works to orientate people in terms of preserving nature, preserving natural habitat, and promoting coexistence of plants and of course animals. We are also animals. So higher animals, biology would say. So climate reality, from her bringing climate reality to us, we also partnered and collaborated to run a program sometimes last year. I think that was November last year. And we also have quite a lot of people. Farzana Chandio is also a Pakistani. We have, Tafadwa Sakikonye. Sakikonye is a Zimbabwean. We have Bikeke Simon is from Uganda. We have quite a lot of people, we've been able to connect. And these are people who, on their own levels, have their own organizations. They have their own platforms where they make social impact, where they generate and, of course, establish promotions of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. You see, I'm referring to SDGs because everything, no matter what we are trying to do on our different levels and platforms, it all centers around the 17 development goals of the United Nations. So when we came together, we had a brainstorming session. And then the people suggested, and I could remember, one of them is Shafiul Halam. Shafiul Halam is is from Bangladesh. Then we have Akram Arumain. Akram is from Yemen, but based in India. We have Professor Aftab. Professor Aftab and Washaik. You know him already. And of course, I have he's from India. I have my mentor here from Nigeria, Mr. Segun Solomon. So all of these people brought together were able to inspire the idea and the motivation to start i-YASI. So when we were looking at the name to give the organization that was to be birthed forward, we were thinking about the best name. At first, we were like Global Youth Alliance for Social Impact, this, and that. So comparing and contrasting so many ideas, then we came about this International Youth Alliance. So it centers around youth. It centers, and I'm sure you are a youth too. No, man.
Well, we're all youths at one point, right?
Yeah, we are still agile and full of energy.
I'm still young at heart. I can be a youth.
Of course. So we center every of our action and concentration of networking around youth. And then alliance means coming together to pursue a common goal. So we come together to pursue a common goal. So, and that was what, and then the common goal we have is to create social impact. And that was what, brought about International Youth Alliance for Social Impact. Thank you.
So how can any, like the viewers that are watching now or the replay, how can they help you to get the goals accomplished?
Well, that's a very good question. And I should take the chance to call your attention to the fact that if you observe clearly, you would see that I have not been so active, especially on Facebook. I've not been
I've
doing any,
noticed.
yeah, I've not been doing any social work. As a matter of fact, I had quite a lot of, invitations to speak at different conferences, both offline and online. But I decided to, step aside a little bit for a while. And all of the friends of mine that I have mentioned initially, that we came together to establish i-YASI. And like we can all see on the screen now, that I am just the co-founder. I am not the sole founder of the organization. So we had to take decisions together. So I told them, guys, I'm sorry. All through the first 2, 3 quarters of this year, I'm going to be very busy. This is Nigeria, and I believe you also understand this. When we were trying to get International Youth Alliance for Social Impact registered back then in Canada, you would remember you were the one we actually contacted, being a Canadian, to help us with some of the, basic documents and all that we need to put in place and all. So, but as a Nigerian, let me say this: as a Nigerian is a face that is being watched so carefully in all nations, in almost all nations of the world, especially in Africa, because we proclaim, we
Yep.
claim to be the giant of Africa. So, but the economy system of Nigeria has been so downturned. The government is finding it difficult to get Nigeria back on its feet, and quite a lot of things are happening around me. And there is an African adage that says, especially from the tribe I came from, the Yorubas, we would say, permit me to say it in Yoruba first. So we
Sure,
would
go
say,
ahead. I would love to hear it.
so we would say, Ile Latin Keshorode. What that implies is that, we say, oh, there is a way we say it. Um, oh my goodness, why did I forget that? Something starts from home. Charity begins at home. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it means. Charity begins from home. So when I look back at Nigeria, because this is the stage I am, I mean, this is the country I am, this is where I reside in, and this is where I see the challenges people are facing around, and quite a lot of things that we can actually come up to do. The government alone cannot do it, and this is one of the reasons why I am motivated and inspired to create, channels, platforms, and organizations, and of course, join organizations where we can create social impact. But I discovered that, let me share this with you. For instance, to get an organization registered in Nigeria as an NGO, I mean, as a non governmental organization, we need something around 160,000 naira. And that's quite a lot of money. Though it's not so much money, but it's a lot of money. Um, and getting that money, I mean, it's a lot of money because it's not easy to get it, especially with respect to this, part of the country where I am. And even apart from the registration process, the cost of registration, we also have the challenge of getting people to fund different projects. For instance, International Youth Alliance for Social Impact is not just existing to just run virtual programs, get people together to discuss issues. No, no. We are always action oriented. For instance, a school in my community, if you come in an elementary school, a primary school, they are not having chairs to sit in the class. They are having issues, getting textbooks. Students are having difficulty to master what they need to master at their level, in the sector of education. That's a challenge. That's a problem identified. We have orphanage. I mean, we have orphanages, homes, and We have orphans all around. We have poor people all around. We have women who are suffering. Nigeria is a poor country. Nigeria is actually rich. There is the concept we call in social sciences, we call it, you know, the honey pot.
Yes.
Nigeria is a honey pot, but the people within the country are actually experiencing bitter tastes even when they try to hit the honey, which is actually so saddening. We say there is what we call resource curse in social sciences. To we say a nation that is blessed with so much resources, natural resources that are so much naturally endowed with it, that but then the country still lives, in pen. The people of the country still lives in penury. They find it difficult to make their ends meet. So these are challenges. Poverty,
Yeah.
eradication of poverty is the first goal on the SDG. We have, eradication of hunger as goal number two, and all of these things, they are interrelated, they are interwoven. So, and each time we try to get people to support our cause, to get things done, you see people not coming up, not turning up, and it's so discouraging. It's so really so discouraging, and that was why I felt okay. If I am actually standing as a social activist, then of course an advocate for a better life for Nigerians, especially, and I am not yet so buoyant and confident enough to say, yes, I can handle this. Yes, I'm going to sponsor this. Yes, do you need 200,000? Do you need 1 million? I'm going to give 700,000. If I am not yet at that level, then that means I need to work more on myself. And that was why I decided to say, okay, yeah, I'm just focusing on this personal business life first. When I get my grants well prepared and well footed, then I am going to return to social work. And I must say that the experience and the efforts put together so far, has really been so promising. So now back to i-YASI and social work and all. It's been so challenging trying to get things done when you don't have the personal prowess, the personal ability and capability. For instance, look at you. That's why I'm always inspired by what you do. I'm not saying this again to flatter you. I'm only saying the truth. Running your programs, your show online virtually. And I could remember you shared with me that you have a plan to start running it even, physically. That's a very good
Yep.
one. But you need funds. You can't do it without money.
Hmm.
So, and it's a challenge getting sponsors and all. But I believe that if we have, for instance, you want to raise, 100%, for instance, and you personally are able to contribute 40%, before you know it, you get people coming to say, yeah, I want to contribute 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, 7%. Before you know it, you even have 200% of what you need. You understand? And
Yes.
so that's my course for now.
But you do make a good point because, as much as I do what I do, at the end of the day, it does take money. This is all out of my own pocket. And I am reaching out for investors. I am reaching out for sponsors and partnerships and stuff like that because I can't do it alone.
Of course.
I'm only at the beginning. I'm only the pot. But for it to continue and for it to grow, I too need that funding. And we understand how hard it is to build an organization because and you need the passion. You need the team. You can't do it alone. You need a team.
Definitely not.
And we both know that because of the conversations that we have had, personally conversations and business conversations. At the end of the day, we need somebody to help us and support us.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Now we're gonna get into the tea. I want to get to know you and your tea. Like I said, I will get to know your tea. So what does tea mean to you?
Well, in the literal sense, tea is just this is water actually. So if I want to prepare tea, I just get chocolate and milk and mix them together or get some green leaves and so but beyond that, your tea has been so inspiring. I could remember when you came on our, virtual program back then, you pointed our attention to somebody who lifted a yes cup. I could remember you laid emphasis on getting the yes cup. So, and the contents of the tea in itself. Not minding your own. You have actually given me the clue to what that tea means, but then so from my own perspective, a man's tea, because tea is what another. For instance, if this is a tea, a cup of tea, so if I'm taking it now, I would have a comment to give. Oh wow, this is so tasty. I love it. That's the content that I'm talking about. But another person can say, let me take a sip. Come on. Oh wow, come on. I don't like this. This is bullshit. You see, it's all about the content, what's in the bottle, right? So for me, tea could be in basically two or three forms. Three forms. The first one is a sweet tea, a sweet, lovable tea. The second one could be just an insipid tea. Tea shouldn't be insipid, right? But then it could be tasteless. And of course, the third one is, the bitter tea. Okay, let me just use those three. Now, you could be a sweet tea if your content is so lovable. For instance, you meet somebody for the first time and the person was like, hey, hello, Elizabeth. I love you. You look so beautiful. I love the way you look. I love your appearance. And then the person, maybe you were not so happy, with yourself. You were not so glad. You are moody. But the person just meeting you for the first time, you don't know him, he doesn't know you. But just by a simple encounter, the person changes your mood. It transforms you completely. And it's like, hey, Elizabeth, you look so beautiful. You're so charming. I love you. And then, even no matter how sad you might be, you just give a smile. You understand? That gesture alone, that you could give a smile just because somebody gave you compliments, meeting you for the first time, it gives you a creative idea of what the person is made of. The person could be a very good person. The person could be a very good friend to have around you. Of course, the person, even if you try to interact and really, I'm not generalizing this. Some people can look so good on the outside, but really bad on
Mhm.
the inside. Okay. So
Really, really bad. Yep.
I'm not generalizing that concept. But in the real sense, you know, when somebody could make you really so happy, excited, inspiring, when somebody is inspiring, motivating, and so charging, so challenging, like challenging you to become a better you, that's a very lovely, sweet tea. Okay. And of course, somebody can be so insipid, a valueless person, somebody who has no value to people's lives. So for somebody like me, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to boast about myself. But many a times I get people to say, hey, Solomon, why are you so committed? Why are you so passionate to seeing people's lives transformed? Why are you so, I don't know. And like I was saying, that the more you give into it, the more you get out of it. I have gotten several recommendations that I never lobbied for. I have gotten to so many, to hold so many positions in portfolios that a lot of people would lobby to get. But I get it just naturally through people's recommendation. They say, hey, is it that guy Solomon? He can handle it. Just give it to him. He's going to do it well. It's about my content. It's about the kind of tea that I give people to drink. That's a sweet tea. People want it more. For instance, if I supply you a Nigerian tea, you say, hey, Solomon, I love that tea. Can I get more ship to Canada? You want more of it. That's a sweet tea because it satisfies you, it makes you happy. You want more of it. That's a sweet tea, and that's the kind of tea I want to be. If everybody has to turn me to a tea now, I want to be a sweet tea, a very good one that everybody wants to have around, that every grocery store wants to have labeled on their stock list and all. So that's the kind of
Solomon's
tea.
tea.
And again, somebody can be so insipid. For instance, let me give you an instance. I don't know if it's peculiar to Nigeria, but I believe it's not peculiar to Nigeria because I asked questions, especially from Talal, who happens to be a very close friend. How is Pakistan? How are people out there? So one of the experiences I have about people who I would refer to as insipid, tasteless, useless tea is the fact that some people can have the potential capacity. Now there is a difference between capacity and ability. Okay, so people can have the ability to transform lives, to make people happy and become their better selves, but not really have the capacity to. Now, if somebody is having the capacity to help lives around, you see people who are suffering around you. Let me say this in Nigerian English so that people who are Nigerians would hear this and understand. If you see people around you with they suffer, people, this is pigeon. So people around you with they suffer, people with they, find it difficult to find their 3 square meals per day. And you carry one big belly, they move around, say you be the rich man for your community. People there around you, they suffer. You get 4 cars for inside your compound, they help people. Now, which kind of life be that? That's a useless life. What I meant is that when you see somebody who is rich enough to help people, not necessarily in the sense of having multi-millions in your account now. For instance, if I'm having just a thousand naira, or say just some $3, some $3 on me, and there is somebody around me who is actually suffering, who is having difficulty to even feed himself, having difficulty to meet the most important basic needs of life, shelter, accommodation, clothing, and I have quite a lot of money. Even if it is just a little amount of money in my account that I can afford to share with somebody, there is loving sharing, we say, and I am not doing that, and I do like nothing wrong is going on around me, then I'm a bad tea. I'm a very bad one, insipid. I'm useless to myself and I'm useless to my community. When you see people who are selfish, people who are self-centered, people who have no commitment to their natural environment, I don't like relating with people like that. But we have them all around us. We have them in our community. And of course, the third type of tea is the bad tea. Look at me. If you have people who are just in the middle, people who are not even making any reasonable impact in the community, that's still fine, okay? If you don't have the capacity, I mean, the ability to do good to people, don't do bad to them. At least live your life without affecting other people negatively. So, but when you see people around, they are oppressors. This is one of the things that led me into social impact, social activism now. Social activism. I advocate for people in a little way that I can. There have been several times when I move around the community and I see people who are trying to oppress another person. I try to, stand and say, hey guys, what's going on there? I might be really young, okay, but I love working with people of like minds who have the same values, who have the same belief system and ideas. And we would say, oh no, what you're doing is wrong, okay? That's fine. But some people who are oppressors would just naturally, by their kind of nature, want to see other people sad. They say a lot of trash. And I'm sure it doesn't happen only physically, it happens even, there is what we call social bullying. There is what we call internet bullying. You see people bullying others on the internet, making them sad. Why should you live your life to make other people sad? You are a bad tea if you are such person. You are a very terrible thief. If you're such person. If you're listening to me or watching me right now, I want to tell you who you are. You bully other people. You say trashes about people. You make other people sad. You are a bad tea. And you've got to change. You've got to transform yourself positively. The world should be a better place. And that's why I love Michael Jackson. In all of his songs of late memory, he would always sing to say, for instance, we are the world, we are the children, all stars. We are the ones to make a better day. So let's start doing that now. And we've got to do that. And I'm glad you're doing this. And like I said initially, that two people cannot work together unless they agree. It is because you are committed to doing this that I am committed to doing this, and this is what brings us together. And unless we agree to do this together, to all be a good tea, create a very good content that somebody would taste and want more, then we are not doing well enough. Until we have gotten to the point of being that very good tea that people want all around again, we are not doing well enough. And I believe that with this, if we all could commit ourselves to being the good tea, then the world is going to be a very good place to be.
I also believe that. So now I'm going to give you 3 letters. The letter T, E, A, and I'd like a word for each letter.
Okay. Letter T. Letter T for me would be transformative. I'm going to use adjectives. When
Okay.
you say someone is transformative or an action is transformative, that means it's so impactful in such a way that it changes something entirely from its initial state or nature to something excellently different, transformative. And the letter E would be emancipation. Emancipation. I love emancipation. Emancipation literally means, trying to get people to become, better, a better version of themselves. For instance, I was referring to the education sector the other time. Part of what we can do as letter E, emancipation, is to try to break the cords of mediocrity. You see people doing a lot of things, crazy things that are so, nauseating and impulsive to me personally. I hate mediocrity, and that's why my tagline has always been excellence and action. Because you can have a dream. We say if wishes were horses, then the laziest of all men would drive the best of horses. Horses. So, in other words, excellence. I try to emancipate people against mediocrity and to reach out for excellence. Okay, so excellence even starts with letter E. Okay, so emancipation, whom excellence. And of course, letter A, letter A. Let me look for an English word which starts with letter A. Letter A should be for aspiration. Aspiration. Transformative, emancipation, and aspiration. I think I love this. Transformative, emancipation, and affirmation. Aspiration. I am so aspire. I am so so passionately committed to my aspirations. My mom used to tell me, "Oh boy, you are too you are too aspiring." There is a way she used to say it. uh, you aspire really so great. Like Donald Trump, before he became the president of the US, he's a successful businessman, would always say that if you have to dream at all, then you've got to dream big. If I have to dream at all, then why should I dream small? Okay. And Les Brown would say that, if you've got to shoot, if you want to be, up there, then you've got to shoot for the moon. And invariably, you might find yourself just in the midst of the stars. But if you had shot for the stars, you might just find yourself back on Earth, on planet Earth, on the ground level. So if you've got to do anything at all, if you've got to commit yourself to anything at all, if I have got to commit myself to anything at all, and like I used to tell a lot of my proteges, that if you've got to do anything at all, you've got to think big, dream big, enlarging. I mean, there is no limit to what you can aspire to become. So once you can dream it in your head, put your mind to it, then you can take action, then you can achieve it. So if you can dream it, you can achieve it. So I love people who are aspiring. People who have big aspirations, people who can dream big, people who can commit, not just dream, people who can commit themselves actionably to chasing big dreams, big aspirations. So my letter A would be aspiration.
Wow. I really, really, really love those words because your T is really different. But now, if you
Mhm.
look at those three words that you gave me, Solomon,
Yeah.
does that explain you as the person you used to be, the person you are now, and the person you are looking to be in the future?
Oh, wow. Wow, I love that. Let me say that by providence, and of course, I would say by grace, by the grace of God, right from my pre teenage age, even when I was age 8, 9, 10, I don't know, it just comes naturally to me. I see myself dreaming really big, like, say, because I'm from a royal family. I used to say, oh, someday I want to become the king of my town, of my community. But at the same time, I would say, oh no, come on, man, you can be something greater than that. If you're a king, you are just king in your own community, your immediate community. You don't have your span of influence, over other places. So come on, man. I'm not looking at becoming a king. I'm looking at becoming something greater than a king. You understand? So somebody who can even influence, who to become a king. Okay, so that's what I am. So that speaks a little bit about my past, that I used to be so aspiring, even right from my my pre-teenage age. I used to dream big, but as I was growing up, and of course I am still growing. I'm still very young. I'm just 25.
Yeah, you're still a young pup.
I'm still 25, and so I was like, so the more I kept growing, let me share this with you. When I was young, I can say confidently that majority of the things I am doing now, they are things that I wrote down when I was in my, say, 17, 14, 15, 16, 17. Because I have my diary. If any idea comes to my brain, quickly I get my pen and jotter, I write them down. Like the word of God says, write the vision down, for it is yet for an appointed time. Even though it tarries, yet it will not be delayed. It will come true. It will come to pass. It says, write it down so that he who reads it might run therewith. So I have been running with all of this written vision all my life, even until now. And of course, the aspirations I have for the next 20 years, my short time goals, my long time goals, my mid time goals, I have them written down. And these are things that I pursue all my life. So that talks about A. And of course, to E, I am not like this before. I don't used to be like this. As a matter of fact, I used to be an introvert. I used to be an introvert, so quiet, calm, gentle. If you ask me, Elizabeth, if you ask me to say, and you say, Solomon, sit down there. Don't leave that place until the next 3 hours. I tell you, back then, not now, okay? so, so back then, if you told me, Solomon, don't leave that place for the next 3 hours, I promise you, you would meet me there. You would, not now. But if you tell me, Solomon, sit there and don't leave that place, oh my goodness, that would be so difficult. Because if I see people passing by, hey, hello, and I see that person, I want to go and meet the person and say, hey, it's nice meeting you. Can I know you are? And before you know it, I'm walking along with the person. So by the time you come around, you don't meet me where you left me. So you understand? So in a
But
way,
that's growth. That's growth in a
that's
person.
growth. Yeah, I tell you, that's a massive growth which I appreciate. I appreciate myself for that, and I appreciate God for the kind of person He is making me to become. I appreciate that. But I'm saying in the past, I used to be
Yeah.
very gentle, calm, and of course, I'm still a gentleman, but kind of, kind of transformed. So, so
I like
that's
that word. Transform is a good word.
and that's also a kind of self-emancipation. So,
But
like,
that's your
no,
present. See, that's your present because that's the word
yeah,
that you used.
exactly, exactly. So all of the TEA that I have given, I think they make up who I am today, and of course, who I will still become in the future.
I absolutely agree because this is the reason why I ask all of my guests this question is because you guys serve your own tea. I can't serve your tea for you. You serve it.
Okay.
If I would tell you, oh, you're a transformer, you're an empowerment, your authority, that's me telling you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking you to describe your tea, you're telling me who you are.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. And
And that's why I do it for because I want everyone to serve their cup. I
yeah,
can't
and
serve it. I can't serve it.
exactly. And of course, in addition to that, I think I should speak very briefly about this. You see, we have quite a lot of people who want you to become who they want. They want you to become who they want, not
Yeah.
who you want yourself to become. They try to change you. You see, you can't change people. You can only, I'm sorry. Of course, I do a lot of motivational talks. I do a lot of inspirational engagements. I counsel people. I'm still very young, but I have the privilege of counseling even people who are older than me. Okay, ages to me is just a number. Okay, I can learn values of life from a very young child. I mean, even an infant, I can learn from him or her. But for me, one of the values that I so much love is the fact that I don't know. I can just live my own life. Let me explain that. I can't live my own life in quotes, because I can't just be an average man. I hate being an average man who sees his fellow in the community who cannot help in any way. I don't like it. You see, a lot of people wants to live in a way they say that means you lack contentment. It's not about me lacking contentment. It's just about me not feeling satisfied by being a mediocre. I can't afford to be. Why would I be in a situation and see things that I should change and not be able to change it? That's why I made myself. But I can also make myself somebody who is the change maker, somebody who can make the difference. Like that tag of your show, making the difference. Just one cup at a time, one effort at a time, one little impact at a time. Whatever you can do in any little way or in any big or massive way, keep doing it. And that's what gives me pleasure and everything I am doing today. Like one of my mentors would say, I'm into this, he's into agriculture, he's into education, he's into unionism, he's into social activism, a lot of things. And I asked him, how do you manage this? Of course, he's also a pastor. He tells me if I live in any of this area of my life, it all centers at a particular goal to make impact in people's lives. So if I'm a young budding entrepreneur today, it is towards a goal. The goal is to see lives transformed around me. If I'm a social entrepreneur, the goal is to see lives transformed around me. If I am a business mogul tomorrow, it's to see lives transformed around me. If I become a pastor, it is to transform lives, not to steal people's money, not to extort them. You see a lot of things going on in this country. I mentioned that religious aspect because it's crazy. It drives me really angry. Okay, I'm sorry, let me not start talking about religion here. It doesn't apply to Christianity alone. It applies to almost every religion in the world. Where you see leaders who are supposed to be impact makers, people who should guide people to become better versions of themselves, extorting them, exploiting them wrongfully. I hate it. And that's one of the key things I stand to fight against. I can just be in your community, seeing you doing the wrong thing and not call you to order and say, hey, man, you're doing the wrong thing. There are people who are voiceless. So I want to be the voice of the voiceless. This is one of the things I crave for. And I hope that God is going to empower us all, not just me alone, people like you, people out there who are listening to us or watching us, who have so much passion and commitment for this to become who they have always desired to be. Amen.
I like it. So before we close up your tea time, Solomon, is there any
Yeah.
final words that you would like to give to the youths out there today in
Oh, yeah.
Nigeria?
Yes, definitely, especially with Nigeria. Ah, what I would tell the youth in Nigeria, I'm also a youth, is that, hey, guy, hey, lady, I understand what happens around you. But the reality is that you've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep pushing. If you don't stop, then you will definitely make it. Like Liz Brown would say, that quitters never win and winners never quit. So keep pressing, keep pushing. The best time is yet to come. And it's definitely going to come if you won't give up. And of course, to people out there, to youths out there across nations of the world, I want to say this to you. Please, whatever your mind tells you, whatever your spirit is committed to, chase it, go after it, aspire big, and go after your dreams. And you can be very sure that you will be able to accomplish them if you do not give up. Thank you.
I really want to thank you, Solomon, for joining today in the studio and that.
Thank you.
I do see some of the comments that are in here, and I will personally reach out to you. I don't feel that I need to share that online, but I will reach out to you, sir, about what you have put in there as a comment. I want to thank Solomon for joining me today in the studio for Tea Time and to get a voice out there for the youths and that. And I want to let you all know that if you're watching the replay, please let me know where you're watching from so I can know where you're watching from. And Solomon, if you need any help at all, please reach out. If there's any updates that you're doing, any programs that you're doing, please let me know. I do share all of that stuff on Miss Liz's Tea Time page because I like to stay committed. And I will see you again at the end of the year because I do a reunion show with all of the guests that have been on
Oh,
for the
wow.
years. So
That's
you will
beautiful.
be with everyone. So everyone who has been on Tea Time in 2021 will be joining me at the end of the year for a reunion
Look
show.
at me. I'm gonna just dance like this. This is Carrie's dance. Carrie would give you this dance step.
Yes, you
You
would.
remember that dance step, right?
Yeah. But it was a joy to have you on today on Tea Time.
Thank you
And this is what we need to
so
do. We
much.
need to make a difference one cup at a time. And as you've heard, it's his cup. He served his cup and his cup of tea. So if you'd like to know more about Solomon, please reach out. I've shared his links on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you have any questions at all for Solomon and you would like to reach out to me, you can send them to me in my private inbox and I will get them to Solomon as well. And I will reach out to you, sir, in a few minutes with your comment that you have left.
Thank you so much.
Again, I really want to thank everyone who's watching Tea Time, who has supported Tea Time. And I want to thank all of the voters who voted me the local small business person of the year for Miss Liz's Tea Time for 2021. I am honored for that award, and I will continue to make a difference one cup of tea at a time. And I will see you next week with a returning guest from last year of 2020, a fellow Global Peace Ambassador, Anjay Misho Kumar, and he will be speaking on education because I believe education is very truly important and we need to keep speaking about it. So tune in for that Tea Time next week. I believe it is August 7th that he is joining me. So tune in. And if you do miss the show, they are recorded and they are uploaded on YouTube and you can watch them at any time. And they are on podcasts as well, Spotify, iTunes, Apple's, iHeartRadio, Outcast, Speakers. I am all over. So there's no excuse why you cannot hear a Tea Time. If you have that platform, you can listen in and you can reach out to all of these guests because all the guests on Tea Time are open to making a difference. And I want to thank you, and I will see you all next week for a new cup of tea.